Greetings, my name is Mr.Bonesworths and welcome to Haunted by Daylight, our yearly Halloween event, and with it comes a bit of new mechanics, along with a place called the Void. With this video, I will hopefully describe which killers you should probably use, definitely give a try, and most likely avoid for this event. Now to describe what the Void is. The Void is a place that spawns above the map, of which, if you're a survivor, you become blinded, exhausted, and I believe a third effect, but I'm not quite sure. And if you're a killer, you become blinded and can't use your power. However, you do become undetectable. If the killer has the void energies, they can release haunts, or if the killer wants, they can go into the void and try to contest survivors from getting haunts themselves. Now that I got that context out of the way, let's go over how I'm going to be rating this. First off, we're going to see if they're going to be at a disadvantage while in the void. 2, if they can actually take advantage of the buffs that you get from releasing haunts. And 3, if they can actually do damage while in the void or use it to their advantage. Ah, Nurse, the strongest killer in the game, the Queen of Salt, and you get one of the most interesting effects from the void of all. He becomes quiet and slow. Ness definitely got the short end of the stick for this event. Not only does he move slower than any other killer in the game, he also moves 10% slower than survivors. You can try to rectify this by using picks such as Plaything, or her 2 add-ons, her Iridescent, which makes you the same speed as the Huntress, with 1 less blink. So not the greatest deal to nerf yourself outside of the void, and then have the chance of catching up to a survivor. And then her green one, which is a bit better, but has the cooldown of 60 seconds, well, timer, per se. And this could be useful, or it could be completely, utterly irritating, in the sense that you could just go into the void when you have 8 seconds left in your timer to actually go at the same speed as, like, Trapper. Definitely not the greatest deal. Now you might be like, oh, what about the buffs you get from a haunt or going through a haunt? Does that make Nurse worth it? For one, you have to actually go to the haunt in the realm, so you move a bit slower. Kind of detrimental in a way, where you could just be blinking above and doing damage there. But then, the speed boost you get for releasing the haunt is only 10%. So you move the same speed as Survivor now, for 15 seconds. Ugh. But then if you actually do the boon of a haunt, well, it's a released haunt, you get a 15%. So you then move 5% faster than Survivor. Congratulations, you're on the same level as Scratchmere. Next, I would like to talk about a group and some outliers in them, which they all have one thing in common. They move at 110% speed, or otherwise known as 4.4 ms. Here are the killers that move at 110% speed. Huntress, Hag, the Wonderful Spirit, Deathslayer, and Trickster. And for sure the weakest and least fun of all of them is Huntress. Huntress can't stop her lullaby. Survivors will be able to hear it no matter what. If she's close enough and she's in the void, you can definitely tell where she is. You don't need to have a heartbeat to know which direction this is going to come from. Technically, she has no add-ons that really can help her in that department other than her Iridescent, which makes it so she's a basic M1 killer. Which, let's be honest, Huntress is not that fun if you can't line up your shots across the map or get some neat shots. And even if you could, the void is not really built for that. So you can definitely take advantage of the speed buffs you get from the haunts, but you can't do anything with stealth. It's like trying to use her wooden fox, but they know you're there already. They're not relying on a heartbeat if they're in the void. Now, as for who's the strongest 4.4 killer, that's definitely going to Hag. Not only can you be very stealthy, as you're smaller than most killers, and you give off a smaller tear radius, you can trap the portals. So then you can automatically hit a survivor as they're coming out, or if they're going in, you can get there before they can enter. You can trap the actual void so they can't even deposit their little bitties. Of course, the voids stop moving around eventually, but they have set locations. So if you trap those, you can sometimes get a cheeky hit. But what I like doing is using the Wildlock suit. Now, what it does, it makes Peg faster. In fact, the fastest moving killer in game with just normal running. And when you combine this with the haunts, you become faster and you become stealthier. That's a wonderful combination. More speed, more stealth equals more fun. Just in general. And when you go outside, you get to use your portals and trap areas again. It's fantastic. Just, you'll be surprised how fast you'll be able to go. How quick pace everything will be. Survivors won't be able to mind game you around the small tiles anymore. They will have to pre-drop it, and they better have resilience, otherwise you're gonna make it to the other side before they do. It becomes chaos for the survivors trying to keep track of. So Hag is a high recommendation to try out during this event. I think she's like top 5 strongest at least when it comes to what you can use for this event. And she's definitely the fastest pace. Like, it's gonna be hard to beat out how much she will be able to do in so little time. But now to the next one. For a killer I don't recommend is Plague. Now, interesting effect that you can do to survivors: if they're injured and they go into the void, they become broken, so they can't heal each other or themselves while in the void itself. It can be very useful information if you can tell, oh wait, this survivor is broken, they're transferring the points, let me go stop them. With Plague, you can't tell that, because, for all you know, they're just broken from your power. That's kind of... that defeats the point of part of it. So you can do well with the speed boost, the undetectable status effect, but the information of who's in the void is not too well. But is he as bad as Nurse? No. Is he as bad as Huntress? No. But I can't honestly recommend using her if you want to take full advantage of the information given to you. However, on the same coin as Plague, a killer that can keep survivors injured and not give them the status effect of broken unless they have a certain add-on is Legion. Now, the great part about Legion is the information that it can give you. Say you've already used your frenzy power and then the portals open. You see 3 status effects of broken, and you chase the survivor. Well, now you know, hey, it's probably not a good idea to use my power on them since I won't be able to get any of the other ones since they're in the void. Maybe I should break chase with this person and actually go in and get a free down and stop them from releasing the haunts, which could hinder me or make it so I can't deposit my own points into them. Which is just great information. You can tell where survivors are in another realm or subsection. Not only that, but given a speed boost on top of your actual power from a released haunt, because if you do the undetectable status effect from releasing the haunt, you can't really use your detection for 15 seconds, which can be not the best, but hey, Legion can be stealthy, so if you want to get a free hit from releasing the hunt, be my guest if you can do it. Claps are all around. But for sure, the benefit of knowing if the survivors are in the void or not by seeing if they're broken or not is no other killer can do it as well. And it'll be constant information of when to use the power, when not to use the power, and if they're trying to do haunts, it's just a swell time. I don't know really what to say other than that. Now, next up, I think this is a bit poetic. Legion's got mobility and information. Ghostface keeps his lethality. Now, you might be like, wait, why Ghostface? Well, although you can't mock people or crouch in the void, you can mock them before they go in there. So then they can be exposed while you're chasing them in the void, or when they come out of the void. Which, the void doesn't stay up for too long, so you should be able to get them. Especially if you can predict where they are inside, by if you run into one of the haunts, or so on. And Ghostface can take advantage of the speed very well. Especially if you combine it with his drop leg knife. You can move at 145 after you mark two survivors, because the effect stacks. That's almost a sprint burst by itself. It can lead into weird scenarios, and I have enjoyed it. And also, don't mind this build. This was when I was testing it for the exhaustion. I did it on multiple killers. But the reason I bring this up is for my number one choice of killer to use there in this event, which is Michael Myers, for a few reasons. Michael exceeds in all categories better than any other killer other than height, which Hag has, and information, which Legion has. He excels at being stealthy because not only does he do it well, if you do hear it, it's already too late and it drives the fear up. Because hearing that slight breath from behind the wall and then the footsteps, talk about knee-jerking, like, stress. And not to mention, if you have infinite tear, don't mind that I threw on tougher hair and vanity me. Let me just put on there you go. So, what was I on? Lethality. Having infinite tier 3, you vault faster, you lunge further, you keep that in the void. The only thing you can't do well in the void as Michael is stalk. Which, good for you, you don't slow yourself down anyway. But that, of course, that's why you don't get your information, as Legion does, but besides the point. So, you're deadlier with being tier 3. You're faster with the speed boost from releasing haunts, depositing points, so on. And you're quiet. That is a awfully terrifying topic. Like that, no other killer can do that. Only way you can have nearly the same effect is if they cleanse haunted grounds and you are in the void. And you're playing someone like Ghostface or whatnot. Someone who can take advantage of the stealth and lethality. Like, no other killer can top that, and that's why, in my list, Michael is probably the best one to play during this event. For being able to take advantage of the buffs and bring his own tools to the table. Sorry if I rambled on a little bit on this video, but I was more like trying to get this out before the event is over. And I'm still finding things out. for myself, so I went on like tangents randomly while I was making this video and had to restart some parts, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. I'm hoping this was information. This was informative. Sorry. And I'll see you on the flip side.